Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for coming. I normally don't respond to any media reports that are reported out there. I've gotten to the point where there have been so many misreportings in this case that I have lost count and just basically given up on trying to ensure that everything gets reported accurately. Having said that, I wanted to respond to the current report that we somehow believe that Kaylee is deceased. And I want to make it as clear as possible so there's no confusion, even though I've tried to do this before and things still get misreported. We believe Kaylee is alive. I've said that from day one. I continue to say that. And for reports to be thrown out there that we think otherwise is just inaccurate and completely false. Now, I had a chance to review the interview given by Todd Black, and I've spoken to Todd Black personally. And in doing so, I've come to the conclusion that, one, it was taken out of context. What happened in that interview was there were jokes being made about this case. And I don't see how anyone could be joking about a case of a missing child or a case of first-degree murder. And that is what I believe he was referring to. Casey Marie Anthony is charged with first-degree murder of the death of her child. So for him to say that this case is about the death of a child or what will happen to Casey isn't exactly an inaccurate statement. What is inaccurate would be when I think it was the Orlando, who's here from the Sentinel? Down here. Would that be you? Okay. I think it's inaccurate to place a headline that says Casey Anthony's defense team believes that Kaylee is dead. That's not true. Todd Black is not a lawyer. He doesn't sit in on our meetings. He doesn't sit in on our client conversations. He does not have any legal opinions whatsoever. He's simply a spokesman for our firm. So to make a headline like that, I think would be extremely misleading, and I ask that you clear that up. The only reason that I am here responding to this is because we have a missing child. And I don't want anyone to stop looking for Kaylee because they think that we think she's deceased. I really could care less about the misleading statements that are made out there and the assumptions that are made. I realize it's a slow news day. I realize that Casey's now in jail, so you don't have her activities to report on. And you guys are looking for the next story on this case. And I understand you all have a job to do. But please, I would implore all of you to understand this. We believe Kaylee is alive, and we're actively looking for her. Our investigation, obviously, we're concentrating on the defense of Casey, but I've said this from day one. My case looks extremely good if we find Kaylee. So, excuse me, I'm not finished yet. So, you know, I think it's extremely important that everybody understand this. We believe Kaylee is alive. And to take something that was spoken out of context, I think is doing a disjustice to the Anthony family and a disservice to this child. And I would ask that you please report that accurately. Now, a lot's been said and commented on, again, because I guess it's a slow news day, that as to any qualifications should the death penalty be looked at as far as this case is concerned or sought. Personally, I don't believe I have ever stood in court by myself, and I could never take credit for things and work of other attorneys who are actively working on this case with me. We have a team of lawyers working on the Casey Marie Anthony case, one of which is death penalty qualified. He's asked that his name not be mentioned at this time because, quite frankly, I can't blame him. And should the death penalty be sought, which is a big maybe, we will be prepared to handle and move forward in the case. We will be moving forward without any bumps in the road on this case. we have always worked together as a team. For example, Casey's appeal to the 5th District Circuit Court of Appeals, I never, ever took credit for that. I specifically stated it was Michelle Walsh, who is of counsel to my law firm, and she did what I believe wrote an incredibly scholarly brief in this case. You've all seen Michael Walsh in court with me, and the last week you also saw Jonathan Kaysen with me. So for people to assume that there's just this is just a one lawyer show, I think it's extremely misleading. I have several lawyers working with me. We work together as a team. It is not just because I am the face person doesn't say that I simply cannot take credit for their work. We have nothing but excellent lawyers working on this case, and we're fully prepared to battle it till the very end. And for reports to be made out there that as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to sit here and pound my chest as to my qualifications or my abilities in the courtroom. I'll let my abilities speak for themselves in the courtroom, and that's it. I won't comment on that any further. I just simply wanted to clear up everything that was being as far as misleading is concerned. There are also news reports out there that I should say unsubstantiated news reports that I don't have all of the CLE for I guess that are required by the Florida Bar. That is inaccurate, and if anyone wants to check with my office, we'd be more than happy to show them a copy of documentation from the Florida Bar that says otherwise. And I would seriously caution all of you to be careful as far as misreporting anything that might affect my business, which I don't feel is a just thing to do. I think I've been extremely accommodating to the media as much as I can be. I know there's many times I don't comment when you want me to, and quite frankly, if I don't feel it does my client any service, I won't do it. I work for Casey Marie Anthony, and I follow her instructions, and I do always what I feel is in her best interest. And I don't think anyone can report anything to say to the contrary. So, I would appreciate just a little bit more verification for those of you who decide to write stories. For that I have a spokesperson. If there's any confusion, I will come out here and clarify it personally so you can hear it out of my mouth. Other than that, I know this case has been crazy for everyone, and I just ask that we all try to get our stories straight.
Is Todd Black, did he do you a disservice, and is he still working for you?
Todd Black still does work for us, and he has done, in my opinion, a very good job for us. And I'm not going to sit here. This isn't my intention of coming out here was not to criticize Todd in any way. He has freed up so much of my time to be able to concentrate on Casey's case and the case of other cases of other clients that I have. I don't have just one client. I'm not Tom Hagen. I have a business to run, and folks, if I don't answer all of your questions, or if I don't give you as much time as you want, please forgive me. But I have a limited amount of time, and I have lots of work to do. We run an extremely busy practice. I have other lawyers that work for me in my office, and they do their best to maintain our caseload, and I also have to contribute to the people who hired me, and I continue to do that. So I apologize to all of you again if I don't sit out here every day and answer every single question, because quite frankly, I just can't, and I apologize for that.
New information on possible live sightings of Kaylee? Any new information about that you can be specific on?
Yeah.